Uh, Once again, peace and blessings, love and light, wholeness and health. Peace and blessings, love and light, wholeness and health. Peace and blessings, love and light, wholeness and health. Create a sacred space for myself, as well as y'all too. You hear me? Um, like I said, y'all might see me do a lot of things. Y'all might hear me say a lot of things that you may not understand at the moment. But investigate, research, ask questions, comment, inquire, and you may be surprised what you learn. That's how I acquired it. Um, my style is no style, so I really don't know what we got going on today. But cause I did a video yesterday, and for those who got certain phones with certain companies, you're aware that it was some kind of shutdown. I don't know, it was 5G. I ain't the conspiracy theorist type, but I heard a lot of things. But whatever was going on with the towers, the phone was down, but the phones went down right after. I had done did the video. It had done uploaded, but then it was going through the last phase before everybody get to see the video. And when the phones crashed, the video crashed. So uh, it said the video failed uploading to YouTube. However, due to the fact that anything I do is not scripted, I live each moment in the moment. Um, I'm gonna try to touch base, on to the best of my ability on what I was led to talk about yesterday, because it really applies in the day too. Because honestly, I ain't really feel like doing this. Even though I felt good, I ain't feel like doing this today because there was a lot going on. But the word for the day is selflessness. But it's interesting because you know, planetary, planetary, a lot of things going on. The planet's, doing a lot of movements. It's causing a lot of shifts. And then spiritually, it's a lot of things going on because we at war, whether you know it or not. But it's evident by what goes on in our physical existence. But the word that I had chose was selflessness, because the last couple of nights I ain't really been sleeping much. Spirit been having me up, getting up, writing stuff down, you know, doing certain things, you know, to keep myself covered and protected, showing me things about, different people in my life and why certain things, happened and why certain things didn't happen, just bringing me into more expansion and intuition and understanding uh, through these, day-to-day life experiences. But the word I had chose was selflessness, and then when I looked at my J.H. Rodell Synonym Finder, for those who want to invest in one, J.H. Rodell Synonym Finder, I couldn't find selflessness. I couldn't find selfless, so I dug and I found self-denial, and I found selflessness under the term self-denial. But we focusing on selflessness, and self-denial reads self-abnegation, self-sacrifice, self-emulation, selflessness, unselfishness, self-forgiveness, self-giving, magnanimity, generosity, altruism, restraint, self-restraint, control, self-control, willpower, strength, self-discipline, self-command, self-government, self-mastery, self-conquest, curbing, curb check, and check, abstemiousness, habitual, abstinence, abstention, sobriety, soberness. We're not talking about from chemicals. Everything that I'm speaking on is place. I won't say state of mind, but I'll say places of mind that we need to be in. Uh, Continence, celibacy, chasteness, chastity, virginity, refraining, forbearance, forbearing, desisting, holding off, resistance, turning aside from. I'm not able to turn the other cheek if you hit me on mine. I ain't there yet. Keeping one's hands off, letting alone, giving up, swearing off, renouncement, renunciation. Asceticism, self-deprivation, fasting, privation, hardship, affliction, trouble, burden, oppression, suffering, self-abasement, self-effacement, self-mortification, self-abuse, self-flagellation, scourging, whipping, and martyrdom. As you can see it always, when we use the synonym finder, you see the positive attributes as well as the negative attributes of that word. But what had been being stirred on me was what makes me me. It was a question. What makes me me? What makes me me? It just kept, and I couldn't understand. I couldn't get it out of my mind. It was to that effect. What makes me me? And all night I was up and down, trying to figure out why this keep resonating in my mind, why I keep vibrating in my mind, to the point that I couldn't sleep. What makes me me? And upon rising, the word selflessness, rose up in my consciousness. And I was like, man, I got it. My selflessness is what makes me me. And what's strange about that is because every that's just my interpretation of myself. But if we ask others what makes us us to them, we might hear something totally different. So the way that I to make sure I wasn't gaslighting myself, the way that I chose to analyze that is I went through a time travel through my whole life and everything that occurred from who I used to be to who I am in my now. And it lined up. My selflessness is what makes me me. Even in the times that I had to be selfish, it was because my selflessness was driving me, And if you ain't there, you won't even understand what I just said. But which deals with my selflessness, it deals with what I've been touching on, the I am power in us. And I was asked the question, what is the I am? So I'm gonna touch back on it, because the I am is what gives us the ability to help somebody in their time of need, and you don't have to know them, to do a good deed in someone else's time of need, and you have no affiliation with them. It's easy to do something for people you know. That's easy, and pretty much the most flagrant form of selfishness I know, because people do something. Most times when people do something for somebody they know, they're looking for something in return. It's a hidden agenda, it's a hidden motive. But when you move from a place of selflessness, it has no attachment attached to it. And from my own, because I know what it's like to be selfish. you know, to be all about you. And it's easy to be that. You know, them are some of the most despicable people. I don't been despicable, so I know the vibration, I know the energy when it's present because I'm familiar with it. You know, I chose to just rise above it, and you know, and keep myself in a more high vibratory place. You know, um, which is selflessness. But I'm gonna touch back on I am. You know, I'm gonna touch back on the phrase I am that we always use prior to doing anything, you know. And I'm gonna be reading from the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary for those who want to invest in one. What is the I am? I am, metaphysical meaning. I am is God's name in man. So when I say God, when I say I am God, I'm not saying I'm the cause creator, but at the same time, I am saying I'm the cause creator. At least of my existence, because you know God is not my name. God is my nation. You know, and I am is God's name in man. It is Jehovah, Allah, Krishna, Buddha, Shiva, or whatever you want to call it. The indwelling Christ, the indwelling spirit, the true spiritual man whom God made in his image and likeness, whatever you call it. The outer manifest man is the offspring. My flesh is the offspring of that thing that allows me to be here. The outer manifest man, flesh, is the offspring of the I am, or inner spiritual man. By use of I am, we link ourselves with outer seemings, or we make conscious union with the Father, the Spirit, with the body and life, wisdom, love, peace, substance, strength, power, truth, and the kingdom of the heavens within us, because you can't get it outside. You want to be happy, you got to find happiness inside. Your wife can't give it to you. Your girlfriend can't give it to you. Your homies can't give it to you. You gotta have it inside. And if you have it inside, then you'll draw happy people to you. The I am always assures us that the preponderance of power is with the spiritual. Get spiritually equipped, man, because they're using fear to trap people in this matrix, man. So in order to know what's going on in this matrix, man, you gotta tap in. You gotta tap in. You gotta find somebody who knows something that can teach you something. You know, because you teachable. Most people ain't teachable, but if you teachable, man, find somebody who knows something, man. It can break bread with you, man. You know, and show you some things, man, how to navigate in this matrix. Fear throws dust in our eyes and hides the mighty spiritual forces that are always with us. So if you got a plank in your eye, what can you tell me? If you miserable, what can you tell me? If you always sad and depressed and I'm trying to be uplifted and happy, man, what can you tell me? We in two totally different vibrational places. We in two total different frequencies of resonance. And we attract in two total different realities according to those places of mind. The I am always assures us that the preponderance of power is with the spiritual. Fear throws dust in our eyes and hides the mighty spiritual forces that are always with us. Blessed are those who deny ignorance and fear and affirm the presence and power of the God force within. They behold the mountain, exaltation, full of horses, which are powerful forces, and chariots of fire, which are our life energies, our chakras, which y'all hear me talk about. The I am can also be explained as the metaphysical name of the spiritual self, as distinguished from the fleshly or sensate self. One is governed by God, the other by materiality, through selfishness, through the ego. Christ is the scriptural name for the spiritual I am. Jesus called it the Father. Buddha called it something else. Christian, we not gonna wrestle with politics and none of that. You know, take what works for you and work it. Jesus called it the Father. It is the Father of the personal will and the conscious unity between the two. The conscious unity between the two must become one. That is what is meant by the phrase, he that doeth the will of my Father. We must do the very will of God in our will, which is virtually to surrender the whole man to spirit, to source. Spiritual character is the rock foundation of being. Build yourself into God. I ain't saying this. See, this book just confirming what I be saying. Build yourself into God, and you will find yourself in heaven right here on earth. Let go of the little self, the ego, and take hold of the big self, the spiritual man within. Not my will, but thine will be done. The I am of each individual is the will in its highest aspect. The will may be said in its highest to be the man because it is that directive power that decides the character formation, which makes us what we call individuality. From the one came many, from the many became one. How are your selflessness shining forth through you today? Are you selfish or are you selfless in your being? And before I close out, as usual, I'm just gonna pop it open and see what it says. One day at a time. No matter what, one day at a time. My source, my rock, in me will I take refuge, my shield and the horn of my salvation, my stronghold, my refuge, my savior. I am saved from violence, 2 Samuel 22:3. How coincidence. Trials can come like a freight train, one car after another, but eventually the last car passes. When problems seem unceasing, remind yourself, this too shall pass. Deal with one trial at a time in the power of the Spirit until each series of events is over. God, Spirit, Source will give you fresh anointing daily to handle everything that comes into your life. But you have a part to do. You have a part to play. You have to get yourself in gear. You have to start your day the way you want to. Each time you endure a tough day, and this day was tough, you can sleep it off and start again the next day. You can always, and you don't have to wait till the next day. You don't have to wait till you lay down. You could change. You could change it the moment that you recognize that you unaligned, that you're not in the place that you want to be, that you're not feeling the things that you want to feel. You could change it in that moment. The moment you recognize it, it's your responsibility to change it. You are responsible for your community. So you may as well enjoy the tough days too, because God's favor is for a lifetime. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. See Psalms 35. And I appreciate y'all for letting me enjoy a selfish moment by sharing and elevating my vibration, through the course of this hectic day. All these Neptune and Mars and, Venus and Jupiter and Pluto. They doing a lot of things, man. But, we responsible to know, and that we gotta keep it on going. But until next time and next series, peace and one love, man. Salute to God.